Welcome to Masters of Self University podcast, your highest source of sacred truths and universal wisdom. Hello, beautiful souls. I'm Rachel Fiori, mystic, spiritual teacher, psychic healer, and founder of Masters of Self University. Join our journey of soul transformation as we deep dive into this latest episode. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Masters of Self University podcast. I'm Rachel Fiori, your host for this episode. Thank you for tuning in and listening. Let's talk about demons, darkness, evil entities today. I get asked the question a lot with people who are struggling and having terrible experiences. If, demons are real, is darkness real? Are evil entities or spirits real? And what do we do? How do we protect ourselves? So the very easy answer is to make it simple. Yes, that shit's real. Unfortunately, there is a lot of negative, evil, dark, demonic spirits that do actually exist. That stuff is real. And the most important thing by the end of this episode that I want you to take away is, what is the way with which or in which you actually protect yourself from these things? And also, it's really important. I always am emphasizing education, education, education. Getting a deep, authentic, very elevated spiritual education to as much as humanly possible on every topic. And that means the ability to discern and who you're listening to, of course, and where your quote unquote education is coming from. So that's your responsibility. First universal way of oneness is a way of responsibility. It is your responsibility to educate yourself. But here's what I want you to understand. So, yes, there's evil. Yes, there's demons. Yes, there's darkness. Yes, they can influence you. Yes, they can make you sick. They can cause diseases and different things. They literally can make you physically sick, and they can influence people. That's what they do. They influence very slowly, very meticulously. So this particular episode, we are not going to do a deep dive into demonic forces and understanding them and all the different kinds. And I'm not going to waste my time on that. Okay. You can go to other people who are, experts when it comes to that. Go to other people who have studied, who have researched that stuff. If you really want to learn about that, go to somebody else. But what am I here to offer you? I want you to know how to heal and how to protect yourself from these things because they are real. So here's the first thing I'm going to address. There are teachers out there. I've heard them tell people this. They've simplified this way too much, and it's a little bit misleading. I've heard teachers out there tell people that if you are just at a certain vibrational frequency, if you just raise yourself to a certain vibrational frequency, a very high vibrational frequency, then that's what keeps you safe from these things. And if you are at a lower vibrational frequency, then they're going to be more drawn to you. Okay. There is a little bit of truth to that. That's the thing that I hear the most. Just raise your vibrational frequency. Just raise your vibrational frequency and you'll be fine. You'll be protected because you just raise your vibrational frequency. It isn't that simple, you guys. So here's the danger in that. Okay. The danger in that is none of that'll come anywhere near me. I'll never attract that. There's this law of attraction bullshit again. I'll never attract that to me if I'm just positive and high vibe and all of that. And that isn't accurate at all. Not at all. Number one, if you are spiritually awakening, darkness, demonic entities, evil entities can come and be attracted to you because they don't want you to awaken more. That's number one. Number two, if you are a healer and you are helping people in a lot of ways, like the people that come to you and need your help are often plagued by these types of, evil spirits, so to speak. So, how are they going to get help? these things will come to you, like they'll come near you through other people. If you're just, high vibe, positive, I'm a high vibrational frequency, that doesn't mean you'll never be prone to having any of these things come and attach to you or try to meddle in your life in some way. I mean, you might be healing or working on a person who comes to you for healing or for coaching or, for whatever it is that you do. And they're the ones that have demonic attachments to them that's wreaking havoc in their lives. Like it is ignorance to say they'll never come anywhere near you in your life experience if you're just at a certain vibrational frequency. It isn't that simple and it isn't that black and white. And I think it opens a lot of people up to be influenced or have these things, come into their realities or their experiences unknowingly because they just quote unquote think they're safe. Now, it doesn't mean go into fear and think, oh my God, I'm prone to attack by demon. Alchemize your fear as you hear this if you get triggered by anything. Okay. So, and you can pause this, by the way. If fear gets triggered, pause it, drop into your heart, grow your light, alchemize it, and then continue listening. There's nothing to be afraid of. I mean that very sincerely. Absolutely nothing to be afraid of. It doesn't mean fear won't get triggered or activated as you hear certain things. Okay. I am educating you because I want you to be powerful and I want you to be divinely protected. And that divine protection comes from within, by the way. Stop praying to shit outside of you, thinking other things outside of you are going to protect you. That is not what keeps you safe. I will get to that a little bit later in a few minutes, but I'm going to make that very clear. Stop it. Stop praying to anything that you fucking pray to. You have to have the power to identify your own divinity and grow your own divinity when it comes to this stuff. It's not about praying to shit outside of you. You yourself have to be divinely powerful. All right. I will get back to that in a few minutes. But these things are all over the world. They're all over people, anywhere you can go. So it is not about I'm just high vibe and divinely powerful. It's not that simple. There is no way you probably will not come across some darkness in some way, shape, or form, whether you're aware of it or not. It is everywhere. So let me clarify this piece, and then I'm going to dive in more deeply. If you are struggling, depressed, anxiety, grief-stricken, have mental illnesses, if you are in a really dark place, and you have a lot of trauma and you have a lot of wounds, and are you more prone? Are you more easily susceptible to these things? Simple answer, yes. So that's why I said earlier, when people out there are teaching, like if you're low vibe and you're, in darkness, or if you're addicted, by the way, if you have addictions, if you are addicted to porn, if you are watching that stuff, that is the number one place that those things filter through, by the way. Any kind of addiction, that you are completely opened up for those things affecting you, coming in, attaching to you, etc. 100%. When you're doing drugs, when you're drinking, when you're addicted to porn, when you're doing all this stuff, okay, you are just wide open for these things to come in and influence. And it doesn't work like you suddenly know that there's something there and, oh no, I got to get rid of it. That's not how it works. 9 times out of 10, you have the slightest clue for the longest time. Things just keep getting worse, feeling worse. That's how they work, very slowly, very methodically, in a very manipulative way. So that part is accurate when it comes to, are you way more prone to it when you are lower, unhealed, depressed, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera? Yes. But it's important to understand that you're not invincible when you're very high vibe. They can still come around from the reasons and the examples I gave earlier. Okay. So what is the number one way that you keep yourself vulnerable or open or susceptible to these things, these negative things, these evil influences? And that number one way is you are unhealed. If you have wounds, unhealed wounds, mental programs, separation programs, self-sabotage programs, hate programs, gaslighting programs, arrogance programs. Oh my God. the arrogance and the narcissism in people, the entitlement in people, you are the easiest ones for demons to come in and influence you. You are the easiest ones. When you run your entitlement programs and your narcissistic programs and your I'm arrogant, I'm superior, the superiority programs that people run, when you run those particular types of programs, you are so easily manipulated by dark, evil entities. You're the easiest. You think the depressed people, the ones really struggling with like depression and addiction, are the easiest ones? Nope. They may be second on the list or third on the list to have dark, evil entities like influencing and coming in. Number one by far are people who have narcissistic traits, superiority traits, because you're so cocky and arrogant and full of yourselves that you are the easiest ones to manipulate to do all the shitty, fucked up things that humans do. So you run those programs and you don't want evil or darkness coming anywhere near you. Heal your fucking programs. Okay. So here's what I want you to understand. When you have trauma that is unhealed, when you have your mental programs, your emotional programs that you run, all the things that we teach about at Masters of Self University and all of our coaching programs that teach you this stuff from day one. If you are triggered and you are running a program or your inner child shows up, your inner child showing up means you are unhealed. Let me say that again. I've said it a million times. Let me say it again. If your inner child got activated, that means you are unhealed. You are an adult now. You are not a child any longer. So if a child part of you gets triggered and activated and you're showing up as a 6-year-old with your partner, for example, your wife or your husband, or you're showing up like a 12-year-old little brat, spoiled, entitled brat, to your corporation, your boss, your job, your manager, your CEO, your whatever, your colleague, if you're showing up as a spoiled freaking brat, that is your inner child. You are unhealed. Do you understand? If you have old traumas, old wounds from childhood, from negative, horrible experiences where maybe you've been victimized, if those are not 100% healed and whole, then you have open portals to negative, dark entities coming in and influencing you and your life. Period. End. Okay. So here is my example. Many years ago, decades ago, there was a serial killer in California. And what he used to do when he used to go hunting, he would go to people's homes at night and just try their front door. And if the front door was unlocked, in his crazy psychotic mind, he took that as an invitation to come in. He would go around to the windows, and the windows that were open, all of the windows that were open in the house. And sadly, you know, I'm not going to say who the serial killer was, but sadly, there was a heat wave in California during his like killing spree. And, you know, people without air conditioning or couldn't afford to use it, just, you know, the only way your house doesn't boil and heat up to 120 degrees is if you open your windows and leave your windows open all night, because that's what cools down and airs out the house, right? So he would literally go to houses and check their windows. And if the window was not shut and locked, literally if the front door was locked and if the windows were shut and locked, he just went to the next house. He just moved on. Literally moved on. Went to the next house. If the windows were open, he took that as, oh, you invited me in. You invited me in. And that's when he would rape and brutally murder the people in the home. Okay. So I know, horrific thing to talk about, horrific thing to mention. Reality, though, it's the shit that happens. Okay. So I am giving this example for a reason, because I want you to understand that when it comes to like demons and evil spirits and the things that people are, often afraid of, or so afraid of, they dismiss it like it isn't real. That's all nonsense. It's just, in movies or whatever. I want you to think of it like this. Every open window that you have in your house, with the example that I gave, that real life example, every open window in your house, that serial killer, it was an invitation for him to come in. Okay. Now, when it comes to dark, evil spirits, evil entities, when you have an unhealed wound, that is your open window for them to come in. That's how they get in. That is what they attach to. So, the vibrational frequency of an evil entity, let's just call it that, is obviously very low. It's not like it's a high, beautiful, powerful, divinely powerful vibrational frequency. It's a very low, it's a dark, it's an evil, quote unquote, vibrational frequency. I'm going to just say it that way for now. And guess what? The dark vibrational frequency, or the evil vibrational frequency from the evil entity, your wounds are that. Evil entities are not created. Like, how do you think they're created? They're created from unhealed pain, from unhealed trauma, from resentment, from hate. The majority of what we would call demons, humans have created almost all of them. Like, humans create them because of our, every time we are doing, horrific things, fighting, beating people up, murdering people, serial killers, raping women, raping children. Like, do you understand that we create energy from energy? When we do heinous acts, we create heinous energy. We are creating these demons. When we live in a house for a long time, and there's a couple or a family that lives in there that just fight and is abusive and all that negative energy accumulates. And at some point in time, it starts to create an entity, literally. So there's all different kinds of demons and all different kinds of entities. And again, I'm not going to go way deep into the education of all of this. That part I am simplifying. I'm barely scratching the surface. Okay. So anybody who's like an expert in demons or evil entities, you don't need to comment. Like, I'm not going deeply into that part of the education, because my part of the education, what I am here to offer, is how do you protect yourself and how do you heal from this kind of thing if it happens to you. Okay. So there's so many different ways that these things are byproducts of what humans do. Sorry, I have dogs. My dogs are barking in the background, probably because I'm talking about demons and it's upsetting their energies right now. But there's all different ways that they get created. Okay. They come from a lot of different sources, and we are responsible for creating a lot of kinds of those things, by the way, because of the way that we are, because of how hateful, unforgiving, resentful, heinous that we are. All the things that we do, energies accumulate. That is one of the ways that these things get created. So, having said that, it is our responsibility to heal ourselves. It is our responsibility to become divine. It is our responsibility to dive into the universal ways of oneness and become the ways of oneness. By the way, becoming the ways of oneness, those 20 ways of oneness, that is your most powerful. That is your most powerful tactic to be healed, to be whole, to be so divinely powerful with these enlightened characteristics. That is your absolute best, most powerful protection against evil and darkness and demons, any of it, all of it. I mean it. If you haven't read about the 20 universal ways of oneness yet, grab it on Amazon and start reading and start learning about the ways of oneness. Demons, dark entities, evil entities do not function in oneness consciousness. They function in separation consciousness. That's how they're created to begin with. So guess what? You start learning about oneness consciousness. You start becoming oneness consciousness by becoming each and every universal way of oneness. That is hands down your track and your path to healing from these things, recovering from these things, protecting yourself from these things. I mean this so seriously. So seriously, I mean this. So if you haven't read about the 20 ways of oneness yet, that's where you can start. Read about the ways of oneness. Okay. I also encourage you, take the digital course. There's at least a digital course offered right now at Masters of Self University. So go sign up for that. And I mean it so sincere. So having said that, I want you to understand your wounds, your program. So you could be very high vibe. You could be doing great, feeling amazing, feeling powerful, feeling wonderful. You could be on your way to being really healed. Your level of consciousness is higher and higher all the time. You're on your path to awakening. You're becoming more powerful all the time, more divine all the time. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. That's what we want you to do. We want you to be a powerful person. And the more you do that, the less these things can affect you or come near you or attach to you. So that part is true, except understand in a more dynamic way that the stuff that is still unhealed is like that open window for the serial killer. Do you understand that? So you still have an opening, like a portal in. So people that are like, yeah, no, it was a long time ago, I don't need to heal that. I know, but like, I'm just going to ignore that. It's not a big deal. I don't need to heal that. Anybody who's doing that, if you have been resistant to healing yet, by the way, all you're doing is leaving yourself open to these things. So what the hell? Don't do that. We don't need more darkness and demonic possessions on the planet, guiding people to do crazy shit that they're doing or slowly dripping their evil poison into somebody so that they slowly change their personality over time and they slowly pull them over to the dark side, so to speak, because that's how most of them work. We don't need more of that. We need people who are powerful, who can recognize and identify their own divinity. Okay. So number one, if you come in contact with anything, if you think there's something in your house, if you think there's something around you and it's scaring you, let me tell you the two main things that these evil entities feed off of. Fear, probably already knew that one. So if they can make you afraid, they feed off the fear. You're fueling them with your fear. Number two, guess what it is? Take a wild guess what the second thing is. Anger. So the anger, the rage, any negative emotions, guess what? These are mental programs and emotional programs that you run in your everyday life or regularly that you get triggered by. That's what these things feed off of. And it isn't about being fake fucking spiritual or fake happy. Get that toxic positivity bullshit out of here. You are nothing but energy, and every emotional program you run that is inside of you, every unhealed wound that is inside of you, any unhealed trauma that is inside of you, any mental program that you are running that comes from separation consciousness versus oneness consciousness, that is what these things feed off of. Period, end, black and white. That part's very simple. So if you are running programs, judgment, criticism, I hate you, fuck you, meh, projection. If you're doing that shit, that's opening the windows to your house. Whether they find you or not, whether they come in or not, different story. I'm not here to talk about that part. But if they happen to be around you, if they happen to be at the fucking neighbor's house, because they're very low in their vibrational frequencies, they're depressed, they're hateful, they're misogynistic, they're racist, they're whatever they are, they're right next door. You can't control all of that stuff. And no, correction, because I know some of you just thought, yeah, but you wouldn't even have neighbors like that if you were really high vibrational frequency. Guys, it isn't that simple. It isn't that black and white. That is not a universal truth at all. That is not a universal truth. You may be the one person who can help somebody, which is why precisely it's coming into your fields, especially if you are awakening, you're a powerful healer, you're a whatever. It might be coming to you because you're the only one that can help those people. Do you understand? So no, it isn't just if this person has demons around them, this person has evil entities around them. It means that they're hiding secrets and they're negative and they're evil. They're probably raping children. You're the one projecting and judging and coming up with crazy assumptions. Those are your mental programs. Doesn't mean there's any truth to it at all. Okay? Like, let me tell you, the people that I have worked with in the past with this kind of stuff, it's been a lot. A lot. And the reason why they came to me, or word of mouth referrals came to me regarding some of this stuff, is because they know that I don't go into fear, and I know about this stuff and I can help, right? So that's why it doesn't mean I was functioning at a low vibrational frequency. I was functioning at a very, very high vibrational frequency, which is why it came into my field. Precisely why. I'm one of the ones that can help. Do you understand? Really understand that part. So it's no different for you. These things can come in for a lot of reasons, and it doesn't mean you should be ashamed of it. So don't go into shame like, oh my God, that something's wrong in my house and I'm embarrassed and ashamed to say, because that means I'm a low vibrational frequency piece of shit. That is not what it means. But so many people have so many unhealed aspects of them. And that's the sad part of this. And this is what I really want to hit home. When you have unhealed aspects of you, you are opening the window to your house. And that means those evil entities can come in through that portal, that wound. When you refuse to heal yourself, you refuse to look at the ugly programs that you run, the programs of judgment and criticism and superiority and hate or separation or arrogance or whatever it is for you. Everybody runs programs until they heal enough to not run the goddamn programs, because you're so healed and divinely powerful that you no longer have those programs. You've learned how to alchemize them. This is everything that we teach at Masters of Self University, by the way. All of our coaching programs, this is the foundation and the framework that you learn from day one. Okay? So understand something. When you learn this work in our coaching programs that we offer at Masters of Self University, you are literally learning how to protect yourself from these things and how to heal from them if they are plaguing you or affecting your life or in some way. Okay? You have to learn how to connect to your divine power. That is an energetic thing. It's not some concept that sounds cool on social media. It is an actual energetic process that you learn step by step how to do. When you learn what that means and how to do it successfully, your next step is, how do I grow this energetic power? How do I connect, stay connected, and expand this divine power of mine so that it is higher, more potent over time? Okay. That is the entire process that we teach you step by step. So when you're triggered, when you have unhealed trauma, when you have unhealed stuff, literally, there's the trigger. What program am I running? How do I connect? I am the way of connection. These are universal ways of oneness. How do I connect to my soul, to my divinity? And how do I expand and grow that divinity while this grief is here, for example, while this frustration is here, while this sadness or depression is here? How do I alchemize these things that are inside of me powerfully with the light that I am, with the divinity that I am? And when I learn how to do that, I am, number one, first and foremost, healing all of my unhealed stuff. I am alchemizing it. It is disappearing. It's gone from me when I learn how to do this. Okay. So if you can do that and heal every damn wound, every program of yours, guess what? You have no open portals. No, they can't get in. All of your windows in your house are locked. They're shut. They have an alarm system. It's like having triple alarm systems on everywhere. You've got the sensor lights outside, like you have it all. Okay. So that's what it's like. So your number one form of protection is to heal yourself. Now, number two, just because you are completely healed and whole doesn't mean you're not human. What does that mean? It doesn't mean tragedy doesn't strike. There's a death in the family. Somebody you love very much passed away. You are obviously going to feel grief, sadness, and anything else that you may feel in that process, which is normal and healthy and okay and nothing wrong with it. When you have a bout of depression, and I'm not talking about clinical depression, it gets so fucking overused. It is a normal human emotion to feel depressed about things. And it's okay. It's not okay to stay trapped in it and stuck there. You can heal from that. But if you feel depressed for a day or a few days or a week, okay, you're struggling with things in life. Understand you might not have any unhealed wounds anymore because you've learned the work that we offer at Masters of Self University. You've become really powerful. You've healed everything. That might be very, very, very true. You can get there. You can. It just takes time and it takes willingness and devotion to the process. You can, but it doesn't mean you're no longer human. So again, what does that mean? You will still have days where you feel depressed or a challenge comes or something scary comes in your life and it knocks you off your feet for a day or a few days or something. And when that happens, you feel very low. That's your open portal. That's you opening a window. And that's normal. It shouldn't trigger anything. There's nothing to be afraid of. As long as you know how to heal and alchemize and become the way of connection during these times, the way of compassion during these times, the way of unconditional love, the way of harmlessness and gentleness, the way of purity. Oh, is that a good one? When you literally become the ways of oneness, that your vibrational frequencies inside of your body are functioning as they become each and every universal way of oneness. When you learn how to do that, you alchemize anything inside of you or around you or in your energetic fields that are less than that. What does that mean? If you have an evil entity, a demon, a dark spirit, whatever, anywhere near you, it literally cannot remain in your presence. Presence, I am the way of presence. Presence is one of the universal ways of oneness. All of the ways of oneness, when you can become each and every way and you can use each and every way and activate those ways of oneness, there is no dark entity that can handle being in your presence because number one, what will happen? In your presence, other things begin to alchemize, other things begin to entrain, transform into the powerful vibrational frequencies that you yourself are. So everything around you begins to entrain to that. That means dark, negative, lower energies literally cannot stand to be in your energy, in your presence. Can't fucking stand it. This is funny because when dark energies are in the presence of somebody like this, that's when some people, they get so fucking triggered because they are triggered by divine power. They're triggered by it. Darkness, shadow self aspects of a person, those are all powerlessness. Those are powerlessness programs. Those are separation programs. You better believe that is instantly getting triggered and activated in the presence of somebody who functions in oneness consciousness, who is in there connected to and emanating divine power. Do you understand? So it activates and triggers in another the very powerlessness programs and separation programs that they are running. So they get angry. They'll want to attack. They don't want to be near you. True demonic forces, if they are there attached to a person, they can't handle being in your presence when you reach a certain level of vibrational frequency. So then they just go away. Literally go away from you. Really powerful people who learn this kind of work and reach a certain level of mastery, and mastery, I mean it for real. You're not going to learn this shit in a fucking week. Get out of that third dimensional paradigm where you listen to a couple things or read a book or two and suddenly you're a fucking master at shit. Or you do a meditation that calls yourself a master and then you're a master. Get the fuck out of here. You're the ones that demons are going to be drawn to, let me tell you. Taking the fucking easy way out, not actually becoming powerful. So people who are really powerful put in the work, put in the dedication. They are devoted no matter what. They don't waver from that. They become more powerful all the time in their divine energy, their divine nature. Okay. So the more you elevate, dark entities, evil spirits, they can't be in your energy. So they're going to run away and go to someone else and get away from you. So you are protected when it comes to that. You don't have unhealed wounds, they can't get in. If you do not have unhealed wounds, they can't get in. And it doesn't mean they won't try to influence you from the outside. But again, if you're working with each and every way of oneness and you are becoming powerfully the ways of oneness, then when they come near your energy fields and you just start activating the ways of oneness and you learn what that means and how to do that over time, they can't stay in your energy fields. They can't stay in the room that you're in because it alchemizes them. That's the best part. You really master this work, you can actually wrap those dark evil spirits with some of the vibrational frequencies of the universal ways of oneness. You can actually, it's like lassoing them. It's like you can catch them in a web and you actually alchemize them and transform them into the light, the divine light that you are, into the ways of oneness that you are functioning as, becoming, and working with. That's the most beautiful part about this stuff. So if you really become the ways, that's your most powerful path to never worrying about these things. And if this stuff does come near you, you can handle it because you're just using the ways of oneness. You're becoming the ways. You are the ways. I am the way. So anything dark that comes anywhere near me, I just become more powerfully the ways. And that's what I offer to darkness. I don't offer anger. I don't offer hate. Those are separation programs. Fuck you, get out of here. No. Oh, look how cute you are trying to come near me. I'm going to embrace you with the way of unconditional love because I am unconditional love. I am the way of connection. I am you and you are me. And I'm going to embrace you with the way of purity because I am the way of purity, with the way of harmony because I am the way of harmony. I am going to use myself as the ways of oneness to alchemize what you are over there. You over there, you think and believe in separation, in evil, in darkness, in pain, in harm. I am the way of harmlessness and gentleness. And that is what I offer to all dark and evil spirits because those are the things that they can't feed off of. They can only quote unquote die and become more divine themselves in the presence of that stuff. And that is what you are to become. So heal yourself. Like this episode, share it with everyone that you know that this might help, that they might need to hear this. That's oneness consciousness. Elevate yourselves. Join our Discord group if you want to learn more and you want to be a part of a community that is teaching how to become more divinely powerful, how to connect to and grow your divine power. Then join our Discord community. You know, join Masters of Self University as a member. Come check out our coaching programs, our group coaching programs, by the way. Awesome way to start to learn this stuff, build the framework, grow the power of your light, and have practice doing it with other people in a group doing it with you. We offer those. So check us out at Masters of Self University. Sign up for a free consultation to learn more. This is the beautiful stuff that we get to do that is so incredible that we get to offer to you. And again, if you haven't already, go to Amazon and grab the 20 Universal Ways of Oneness and start to read that book. You know, really, I mean this. Like, you want to protect yourself from these things or heal yourself from these things. You have to be willing to heal yourself. It's not about get this thing away from me. It'll come back. Do you understand? Like, that's not how you handle this stuff. That is not the way you deal with these things. If there really is darkness around you, or there really is evil around you, or demons around you or something, that is not the way you deal with it. Just somebody, please come cleanse my house. Great. You want to waste your money? You can pay me. I'll do it. I charge a lot, but I'll do it. But guess what? It doesn't matter if I come and completely purify your entire house. It doesn't mean I won't do it. I absolutely have the ability to do it. I'll do it. Guess what, though? That has zero protection or prevention of that thing coming back or not. So don't waste your money. I am the way of truth. I am the way of trust. I am the way of integrity. I'm not going to charge people for that, an arm and a leg for me to do what it takes for me to do that. It's a lot of money to pay me to do that because I do a good job at it. And guess what? It doesn't mean they won't come back. How will they not come back? You yourself have to transform. You yourself. If you yourself heal every goddamn wound that is inside of you, every program that you know or don't know you have, that is the most amazing, beautiful, powerful thing about the work that we offer at Masters of Self University. Truly. You heal every damn thing about you, every aspect of your shadow self. There is then nothing to worry about. Because even if something does come near you, boom, just like that, you can alchemize it all on your own. You don't even need extra help. You, of course, can invite extra help in at that point because you yourself are powerful enough. You learned how to alchemize. You learned how to connect to your divine power. And then guess what? Because of oneness consciousness, at that point, when you yourself are powerful, you're healed, you're whole. Maybe you're just not to a degree of, mastery in this stuff yet. And that's okay. Everybody's in a different grade, right? So you might be healing. And as long as you are doing that, that's when, yes, it would help you to bring other people in to help you with this stuff. Other healers, doing this, that, and whatever, because we're connecting together, expanding the power of our light. The more of us that do that together, the less darkness there is on the planet, in your house, in your neighborhood. That is, yes, that part is absolutely true, except people typically misunderstand and get it wrong. If we just all join together, wait a minute, you take you with you wherever you go. If we just all join together, everybody that's joining together to create healing and positivity and power, divine power collectively together, you're joining together every aspect of you. So how many unhealed programs do you have? How many programs of separation do you run? How many superiority programs do you run? Like, if you're not healing those things, then guess what? You're weakening the whole group because you're bringing that into the mix. You're bringing that into the mix. It's no different than saying, hey, everybody, each of you grab an ingredient, drop it in the pot of soup. We're all going to make this soup together. And somebody shows up with a handful of dog shit that they just picked up out of the backyard and dumped it in the soup. You now have shit in your soup. So if you still carry shit inside of yourself, you're shitting in the soup. Do you understand? It's why number one, 100% of the time, is education and healing yourself. No matter what the damn scenario is. Education and healing yourself. Part of healing yourself is to become really educated. You have to become divinely powerful. When you become divinely powerful, the rest is easy. It still takes work. It still takes effort. But then you want to join part of the way of connection. When you become the way of connection and you learn about this universal way of oneness, it isn't connecting to other people. It is connecting to your divine self, your higher soul, the heart and soul of Mother Earth. That is first, and all simultaneous, by the way. You want to be an open, direct channel to your higher soul and the heart and soul of Mother Earth, because that's what grounds us into our human experience. So now we have a divinely human experience when we are connected to our higher soul, to my human self, to the heart and soul of Mother Earth. That represents the Trinity. And that is us working in oneness together. And I need to achieve that for myself, me, myself, and I, before I should ever connect to another human being. I don't care who they are. That is becoming, that's the way of responsibility, not just the way of connection. That is becoming a divine being. And when we can do that first and foremost, only then should you be joining a group and a community. If you are not mastered in that, that is okay. But if you are working towards that, of course you can join your group or your community. Of course you can come together and meditate together in order to create more light on the planet. But if you have wounds and unhealed shit, you're bringing that energy into the mix. Do you understand? It is always your job to heal yourself. And that is your number one focus. And it should be 100% of the time. The way of responsibility, among all the other ways that you can become when you learn to work with the universal ways of oneness. It is no different with demons, darkness, and evil entities. Heal yourself first and foremost. That is where you are most powerful. That is where you are the most protected. That is where you are the safest. And even if you're super high vibrational frequency and something comes anywhere near you, you can handle it when you have taken these steps first. When you heal yourself, number one, that is the power within. And when you become, number two, the universal ways of oneness. Step one, the power within. Step two, the universal ways of oneness. You do that, you're golden. You are golden, not just to yourself, but to every single person that ever comes into your energy fields. Any person that comes across you, you are just the light to them. What a blessing you are to them. Become that, and you have nothing to worry about when it comes to demons, darkness, or evil entities. Thank you for listening, everybody. Give us a like, give us a share. Make sure you subscribe, please. We love when you come and listen to this stuff. And I will see you in our next episode. Bye for now, everybody.